Hello and welcome back. You found my channel and you found the extra content that was never supposed to exist. This is, after all, a 6-day tour, so what the hell am I doing on my 7th day? Well, as you can see, it's raining, it's quite miserable, but I'm still in Scotland. I'm just making my way home, and if you stay watching, you might find a very surprising place that I visit in the pouring rain on the way home. Making my way out of Scotland via the fastest route possible due to the weather and the expected chance that it's not actually going to stop raining all day, I decided to follow the A75. The A75 is a primary trunk road in Scotland linking Stranraer with Kirkcudbright with the A74 at Gretna, close to the border with England and the M6 motorway. However, I don't want to use the motorways to get home. Before I got too far, I found out why all the roads were so immaculate before I rode them. It's quite clear that the working crew resurfacing the roads were just trying to get them all done so I could leave without finding a pothole. Yeah, I doubt it's just for me, but I can dream, can't I? They weren't half causing a tailback though. Let's be honest, riding around in the UK, if it doesn't rain, then you're extremely lucky. Unfortunately, most motorcycle gear is only waterproof for a set amount of time. My gloves, boots and my socks are very wet and damp from the night before, as I got wet getting to the hotel. I did change my socks. These are clean and dry. Well, they were dry, but I had to put them into wet boots. It wasn't long before I got to the magical place called Gretna. People know this is the place where people run away to get married in Gretna Green, which is just down that road there. That's where the sign points to, the registry office. Oh my, country lanes at last, and the sun has decided to come out, at least for a little bit. But as you can see, my gear is pretty wet, and the only thing that is going to dry it out now is the wind and the warmth of the air. Will it start raining again and make my journey today rather miserable? Today is supposed to be a short journey, as I'm just supposed to be crossing the border and going and stopping in a shepherd's hut on a farm for the night. No electricity, no internet, no heating. Could just be the thing you want in the heat of summer. A nice retreat. But during a storm, I'm not so sure. Surprise! Welcome to the Lake District. This was always my plan to drop into the Lake District on the way home. There's a few places where I didn't get to ride last year on my X-Max. Honister Pass being one of them. I was hoping for an awful lot nicer weather, but like I said, in the UK, you can't control the weather. Honister Pass, by the way, dates back to the 18th century, when it was initially utilised as a packhorse route for transporting slate from the Honister slate mine. Simply, there are a few things I wanted to get done, as well as stopping in the shepherd's hut and having a nice time, so I could ride home the following day and not stress about the miles or the time. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I know you're watching but not clicking those buttons. And if there's something I could improve on, leave me some positive suggestions or feedback in the comments. I've never seen a car park quite the colour of the car park at the cafe here. I was going to stop, but then I realised just how wet I was, and I figured that I didn't actually want to trudge all of it inside a dry building. I once got this wet before. I got to the shop door and the owner told me to stop. He got towels and fetched me everything I wanted and made me pay for it at the door. Felt a bit rude at the time, but I can understand him not wanting to mop his floor multiple times a day. The only problem with Google Maps when you're following the directions is, one, it likes to change where you're going without your permission, and two, if you have no internet signal and you have to cancel a waypoint, sometimes it cancels the entire thing, and then trying to get your next waypoint with no internet signal is impossible. So this might be why a dedicated sat-nav is far better, or downloading the route in advance maybe would have been a better idea. And the other problem you have in the rain is that getting your touchscreen phone to work is nigh on impossible. So regardless of my efforts to make it work, I can't get to the next destination as I can't get a signal. I can't type in the destination on the phone, and at least I got a couple of nice photos from stopping. It is nice to be riding in the mountains again, but are these just hills? I'm not sure. If you know what they are, feel free to tell me in the comments if they are hills or mountains. I do believe they are actually mountains. So as I have no navigational aids, it's time to follow my nose, following the signs back to where I want to go. Oh look, it's a bus. It's a bus route? That can't be that dangerous to ride or drive then, if buses come down here all the time. I did find my way back to Keswick and stopped in the town centre for a nice hot coffee and a bite to eat. Stood at the side of the road at one of those small vending vans, eating and drinking in continuous rain. At one point, I'm sure my open mug of coffee was filling up instead of going down. As the weather had ruined a lot of my plans for the day, as there were roads I wanted to ride around, but the weather made them either unsafe or at best pointless. If you weren't really going to experience the best views when you got there, is it really worth the risk to go up some really steep or mountainous paths? I don't know. I personally decided the risk wasn't worth the reward. So my other question while I was stood drinking my coffee, with it going up and down in the rain, was should I go to the shepherd's hut and try and get dry and warm? But I had a few hours to wait, or should I give up on the idea and ride home? I mean, I could be a quarter to halfway home before I could even check in, and I can only guess at just how wrinkly my feet and toes are right now. The road to the hut might not be anything other than a mud bath by now. Should I risk it? Getting stuck or worse, damaging Gloria, my lovely Chinese motorcycle? I can't even get my phone to work right now. Fingers too wrinkly for the touchscreen, or just the screen's too wet? So I used the one button on the Cardo to phone a friend. Well, the wife actually. It's a 50-50 decision, so we discussed it in length. Leaving Keswick, but not using Google Maps or the inbuilt sat-nav on the motorcycle because I can't get the phone to work. Cardo functioned to my rescue again. To ask the phone's assistant to plot me a route home? Yes, I still had to pay for the night's booking, but 250 miles thereabouts to get home, and I would be mainly dual carriageways and some motorway home, listening to music and trying to enjoy the best of a very wet situation. The Chinese motorcycle covered around 1600 miles in 7 days, and the only thing that went wrong was the geofence system, and the stand bent a little. Many watching this probably expected far worse to happen to this ridiculously cheap motorcycle on this journey. They are currently £5,000 on the road. Okay, that's last year's model, but even so, they've got 0 miles and still get a 4-year warranty. You learn far more about a motorcycle putting in the miles than you can on a test day, or a test ride even. What can you learn in half an hour to an hour? What the power's like, how it handles, but not how comfortable it is over a long journey or anything like that. I will do a full review of this motorcycle in the coming weeks, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching the tour, or just popping in for this one. Please like, share and subscribe, and as I said previously, if there's anything you'd like to see me improve, drop me a comment or drop me a message and let me know. Cheers.